Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Howdy, y'all. This is red.olaughlin, Houston area, Texas, and we're on Talking Heads today on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. About every 6 or 7, 8 weeks, we have a new topic. We started a new one last week, and it's basically called, let's get ready for 2025. What health habits do we want to establish? Well, I've been going through a lot of things here lately. Early June, I came down with shingles. One of the worst things ever happened. The absolute worst thing that's ever happened to me. At the end of June, I got it again, and it's something you do not want to have any part of. It's just a debilitating thing, mentally, physically, it just all sorts of problems. So it got me to thinking about, what do I want to do? I finished up the last program we were doing. I said, maybe I want to get myself a little bit healthier for next year. I think a lot of us think that way, that we are wanting to do that. But anyway, let me go ahead and get started here with the show today, because there's a lot of things going on. I need to load up the slides real quick. So we're going to talk about health habits for 2025, and we want to start today. Our date today's 3rd, but our program here, USA Global TV and Radio Network, there's 55 different shows that are available, not only as far as being able to be on live, but also as far as the archives on YouTube. But this thing is live streaming. We see it on Amazon Fire, on Zizzle, on 360 TV, on YouTube, and many other sites. Live streaming, but we also have the recorded version as podcast. So it's not a difficult thing to find. Just type in USA Global TV and you'll generally be able to get to where you're needing to go. But anyway, YouTube is a great place to go, and I'm going to reference a little bit of that later today. From a disclaimer perspective, I'm a researcher. I've never been in the medical industry, the pharmaceutical field, nothing in that. But I fell in love with chemistry very early in my life, long before I graduated from high school. And I got my first degree in it. I got 4 other degrees after that. Nothing dealing with chemistry, just different parts of my life. But what I love to do today is to evaluate, to assess the chemical reactions that are going on in our body at the cellular level. What's happening at the cells? That's where everything is going on. So I try to look for causes. If this happens, this happens, this happens, and this happens. Well, can I stop that from happening? Can I slow it down? Can I speed it up? Anyway, I look for causes, because if I can treat a cause, I can fix a problem. But most of the time we treat symptoms. I have a headache, I take a pill. With my shingles, I was having pain, just unbelievable. Nothing worked, nothing. I'm talking about just about every major thing that was used for pain, because the pain generated from the nerve endings is different than the pain that's generally starting at the cellular level with the arachidonic acid and then with the cyclooxygenase enzymes, all that stuff that goes into swelling and inflammation and pain and redness and soreness. That wasn't part of my pain path. My pain path was frazzled ends, burnt ends of my nerves, and that manifested a different kind of pain and a different method of treating it. One of these days, I'll probably talk a lot more about it, because there's a lot to be learned in there, and maybe that's why I came down with it. But still have symptoms. I don't have any of the rashes, but I still have a little bit of, maybe 90% less pain than I had before. But these things, I have a symptom, but the real damage, if I'm not treating the cause of the problem, can manifest itself as I'm treating symptoms. Anyway, it's one of those things we need to be aware of. And as always, the show is for awareness and education. So based a lot of the information off a book I wrote a while back called No Matter What You Can Do It. It's based on Dr. Maxwell Maltz's Psychocybernetics. It's a book he wrote as a plastic surgeon, cosmetic surgeon, about one people that, when they are perfectly fixed, they can't see any scars. Their subconscious mind still sees what used to be there, even though it's not there. And our subconscious mind, we talked about last week, is that it will help you do whatever you want, but it's going to protect you from failure. It's going to protect you from pain and disappointment and things. So even though you think you're doing everything right to your conscious brain, your subconscious is really in charge. And we've talked about that last week. This is a slide we left off on last time. We just talked a little bit about how do I change a habit? How do I change my lifestyle? Well, one of the ways, and we talked about, was time management. A lot of us have this tendency to procrastinate. Yeah, I can get it later. Let me watch this. Let me make this phone call. Let me check out myself, whatever it is. I pointed out the fact that I have a egg timer here sitting right in front of me that, if I'm working on something and I know I need a half hour dedicated to whatever that is, I set the timer, boom, it goes off. Now I have a dilemma. Do I continue doing it because I'm really making progress? Or do okay, now let me get to the next thing. So, I have my to-do list there. I got paper all over the place. But sometimes we're not always concentrating on the items that we need to do. I've had phone calls I need to make, and for whatever reason, I just don't feel like making. You have to prioritize. But time management, that's a skill we need. And so we're talking about our goals. If we want to, let's just say lose weight right now, are our goals completely aligned with everything else going on? I use a thing called EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques. It's a tapping that's done around the body with a certain mantra and stuff. Look up EFT on YouTube. Brad Yates, Yates. I really like the way he does it, but there's so many people back there that if you say EFT and stress relief, EFT and whatever it may have to do, pain management, EFT does a lot for you, and it's just a matter of watching it. It's just not a matter. Actually do it and say it out loud. But when you're doing those things, I can say, okay, I got a really busy day today. I'll start doing some EFT, focusing on what needs to happen. And for me, I need at least 8 minutes. If I do something less than 8, I find that my productivity is not as good. But if I do 8 or 10 minutes, I can generally accomplish just about everything on my list. So it just keeps me aligned. So my alignment of my goals, I know exactly what I want to do. Do I have the skills to do what I need? If I'm trying to break out of procrastination, I've never taken a time management class. Maybe I need to go on YouTube and find out what's there. Maybe I need to buy a book. Maybe I need to watch a couple TED Talks. But there's a lot of things there that can help us. Now, I'm an introvert. I am not a person that likes to go out and network with people and do all sorts of things. But I have a lot of people saying, swear all up and down, oh, you're not an introvert. Because when I do that particular job, I put this hat on as an extrovert or a business owner or as a speaker or whatever it may happen to be. I wear the hat that I need to wear in order to do the job I need to do. And if you can start thinking about what hat do you need to wear in order to get the job done, that sometimes is enough just to make that mental difference. So adopt your hat, that imaginary hat, into the world that you want to be in. I think that might be a major plus or hack for life. Assess what motivates you. Is it only money, recognition, a lot of things? What do others say about you? I remember once this guy in a networking deal I was at, you would think he was just one of the best things since sliced bread. I mean, but I remember afterwards, a couple of the people who were heading up the deal, I was listening to them, and one guy said to the other, he puts on a good front, but he lacks self-esteem. He'll never go anywhere without that. And I thought about that, and afterwards I asked a question. I said, I didn't mean to overhear you, but you were talking about that. Sometimes we defeat ourselves because we can put on a hat and pretend like we're something, and that works for that event, but it doesn't necessarily work long term. So if we need that discipline in our life, we need a new set of skills. We need training. And if we know what motivates us, maybe we align our motivation factors with what we need to do. Who encourages you? Most of us early on, it's our mothers. Some of it might be a friend at work, might be your spouse, might be a good friend. A lot of people encourage you. Why do they encourage you? What do they see that you don't see? And that's good, because you can come to somebody and say, I just went to a high school reunion. A lot of people there that I know, and we compared lives and kids and grandkids and everything. And we don't always know why did we take that path. But anyway, if we know what motivates us, what encourages us, that helps us make a change in our life. I ask a question. Have you ever been burned out? Yeah, there's sometimes, I can remember going to a class in college, working at night. I stayed awake 166 hours in a row. Some days I had no idea where I was at. But that's probably the first time I was ever burned out. I remember flying in Vietnam. There was things there just day after day after day. By the time you finally wake up 4 or 5 days later, okay, there are times we get burned out for certain things. Mainly it's stress. There might be issues of COVID. But why did it burn you out? What lessons did you learn? We don't need to be burned out again. What value did we learn from that time? And I'm trying to say, if we look at a total assessment of our life, we want to change something. We want to change the lifestyle. We want to have a new habit. If we know what failed, what worked, maybe that's going to be the clue to make the right actions down the road. Okay. So why is it important to start today in order to achieve something in 2025? Why can't I just get there January 1st, New Year's resolution, boom, 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 like I've always done? If you've always been successful, stop watching the show and do whatever you always do, because you already have the solution. There's no reason to think about, I'm going to change something. But if you've started something in 2024, 2023, 2017, 2009, and they never happened, they lasted a month or two, something happened that did not allow you to go through. So I'm saying, maybe if we start 90 days in advance, we have those habits developed in 30 days, worst case 45 days. I still now have a 45-day window to start the changes that I need for January 1st. And I'm already there. I don't have to make a New Year's resolution, because I have a habit that's already instilled in my life. I can start visualizing. I can start imagination mapping. These are all things that you can go on YouTube and find out, how can I use imagination mapping in order to help me set a new goal, set a new habit, a new lifestyle. Lots of things are out there with TED Talks and books, newsletters, YouTube. There is more information out there that you can digest. Everything is out there. But the key is the fact that not everybody is motivated the same way. If it was all motivated by money, here's $100, go do it. Some people don't care. Some people want to be recognized. There's just different things that motivate you. Now, when we're trying to do something to change our internal, it's this thing up here that we have to keep motivated, our subconscious mind. So what works for you, what doesn't work for you, try it. You like it. Habits, as we know, can either be good or bad. We may get in a bad habit, and then, 10, 20, 30 years, we have an extra 6 or 8 inches hanging around our gut. That's not the one we need. That's definitely going to hurt us. But in the next 90 days, we have a chance to truly assess what needs to be changed in our lives, give it a lot of thought. How can I attack that problem and attack it where I have the tools in my belt to really make it effective? So you have to ask yourself, what do you really want? What is it that I want to get done? Now, want is a conscious term. And once I understand what I want, then I can start saying, what can I expect? Because that's the one that's going to actually make that change. Does it line up with something else in my life? Okay, I want to lose weight, but I know that in previous New Year's resolutions, that doesn't work. So my subconscious mind is going to thwart every attempt I have at losing weight. But maybe what I want to do is lose fat inches around. Well, I've never had an occasion where I set that as a goal. Maybe that becomes the goal I need to set. Now I have a different goal. My subconscious mind can't counter it. And so it's going to help me for a while. So maybe I need to change the verbiage, the text that I'm using. And so that's part of assessing where we're at, what worked, what didn't work. And a lot of times, what controls or choices do we have? If I don't have control over my time, my location, my food habits, maybe I'm eating in a dormitory, what I'm eating out all the time. What do I have and what can I control? That has to be part of that initial assessment. Now, weight, food, time, exercise, stress, fasting, a lot of things go into how much weight we have. But sometimes it's just easy to step on a scale, boom, okay, 200 pounds. I don't want to be 200 pounds. Okay, what do I want to be? 170. Well, 30 pounds, never lost 30 pounds before. I have a problem. I don't like exercise. I'd get stressed out, lots of things. So that's why we're starting 90 days in advance, so we can kind of assess what works, what doesn't work, what can I change incrementally to make things work. So if you're interested in weight loss or fat loss, the USA Global TV and Radio Network archive on YouTube has the shows I've done, I think 6 or 8 week shows over the past. We go into a lot of detail at the cellular level, chemically speaking, about what causes things. When you start looking at weight, there are so many different factors in there that you can't take one and say, okay, I'm just going to give up meat, give up this, do that, because lots of things interact. Sleep has a major effect. Diet, our choices there. Exercise, what kinds of exercises. The level of stress we have, what we get rid of. To some degree, genetics, but epigenetically, we can turn some of those genes off and on. And our hormones, there are so many of them that interweave, that we control this one, but the other 5 or 6 are just out of control. So we're looking for balance. How can I achieve balance? What needs to change? If I am really overwhelmed with insulin and my insulin resistance is way up here, maybe I need to look at what's causing that insulin resistance, which is usually a sugar or some kind of carbohydrate, and look at what can I do to balance. Maybe you get that under 50 grams a day, under 20 grams a day. Those are things that we need to look at. So what do we know? What do we know about making change? We don't want to do the same things we've done in the past that's failed. We need to change the context of what we're doing. The minute I start burning fat, I haven't had carbohydrates for a couple of days, and if I keep doing this, my inches are going to start melting away. But the minute I have that candy bar or Coca-Cola or something, boom, the carbohydrates, that sugar shuts down the fat burning process. So understanding the processes sometimes super helps us to accomplish something. And down the road, I'm going to talk a little bit about that, because that's one of the goals that a lot of people want to change for next year. Talked just a moment ago about weight loss and hormones. This is not a complete list, but insulin, leptin, ghrelin, cortisol, human growth hormone, thyroid, all sex hormones, all of these things interwork. You increase or decrease one or the other, and it's going to have an effect on something else. Cortisol, stress. And if I'm stressed out, cortisol, one of the things that cortisol loves to do is store fat. And where does it store fat? Where you have more fat receptors than anywhere else, around your gut. So if I'm really stressed out, you're probably going to see me put on a lot more weight around my gut. So stress for me is one of those things I need to concentrate on, not just periodically, but several times a day for more than just a couple of minutes. Leptin and ghrelin are things that control our hunger. Human growth hormone is a super easy one to attack. But there's lots of things there that we can talk about that down the road with regard to, if I really want to lose weight, what works, what isn't. But the key here, the key takeaway, it's complicated. It's so easy to fail, and it's not one of those ones that we want to fail. So, and again, if I failed, my subconscious mind is going to say, I'm a failure. I don't want that. I can't allow you to do that again. So I'm going to do everything in the world not to let you lose weight. So, but if I look at, okay, I just failed at that one, but I'm not a failure. There's a different perspective. We talked about perspectives last week. So I need to really start looking at my perceptions, my perspectives, and make sure they're in alignment with my subconscious mind. Is weight really and truly the proper goal that I need for 2025? Will weight loss accommodate some of the change that I need? If I'm only want to look better, but it doesn't accommodate reduction in chronic diseases that may set in, it doesn't accommodate other things that are part of my life. Maybe I can get off 2 or 3 prescription drugs because I can maintain a certain weight, a certain blood pressure, certain other things. So weight may be what we see, but may not necessarily be the end all that we really want to have. So, what other things can change that will give you what you need? Maybe if I adopt better food choices, a better time for eating, and knowing how to order in a restaurant so that I get the minimum amount of bad stuff that I need, but I'm maintaining consistency about that goal that I want for 2025 early on. Okay, well, I didn't handle that restaurant very well. What did I do wrong? So if I go back there, this is what I need to do. So start assessing as you start pigging out on things on all you can eat. Maybe you don't need all you can eat. Maybe all you need is that one small plate and that's it, and walk away. But anyway, that's why we're in this assessment mode now. Me, I'm going to do visceral fat. I have a weight scale that I get on that measures. I get on barefoot. I pick up my phone, click, and all of a sudden it gives weight and about 15 other health factors of different levels of fat, this, that, and whatever. It's amazing what it does. But I know that my visceral fat is something that I really need to get rid of. And there are a lot of things that control it. But if I get rid of my visceral fat, a lot of benefits occur. So that to me is something I've never worked on before. That is something that my subconscious mind can't thwart me, but it should be there to help me, because if I focus my mind on how can I get rid of the visceral fat, what works. But in visceral fat, a lot of the same lifestyle choices that I want to change are involved. But whenever I'm looking at something to change, I need to make sure that the measurements are right, that I have accuracy in my measurements and repeatability. I had a scale several years ago. You get it on, you step on it, and let's say 200. You get on it again, 203. You get on it again, 204. You get on it again, 199. There was no repeatability, no accuracy. So when I bought this electronic measuring thing, you get on it, there's a couple of metal things there, your bare feet, and everything's kind of going literally in 5 seconds. It sends a current through you. It measures everything, sends it straight to your phone. Now I have a record that I can get feedback. But I don't need that feedback every single day. I need it, but once a week is fine. I noticed on Atkins, I was on that for 6 years. I lost 8 inches in my gut. I lost about 40 pounds in weight. I thought it was the absolute best thing in the world. There are some issues with it. One of these days I'll go in a little bit more about it, but I found that if I'm on a goal of not eating carbohydrates, once a week, generally speaking, once every 2 weeks, I could pig out on pasta, bread, desserts, anything I want. One meal once every week, once every 2 weeks, had absolutely no effect on the program I was on. But if I continued, let's say I was living in Germany at the time, I'd drive down to Italy, pig out for a weekend, I'd gain 12, 15 pounds, come back 2 weeks later, it's all gone. So it's knowing what you can and can't do. So I invite you, follow me as I create my dashboard. I want something easy to read, something that's accountable to me that I can look at on a regular basis and say, hey, what's schedule? I'm a little behind here. I didn't do that this week. So I want weekly updates to show my progress, and I'm going to keep my audience involved. So for me, my accountability partner is my audience. The nuts and bolts each week, we're going to cover various things. Like I say, weight loss is generally one for a lot of people, and I'll provide information on that. But for some of us, we just need new habits that we've never done before in order to get that success we're looking at down the road. Now, personal health monitoring, anybody who's been in the hospital has been hooked up to everything. Something goes out of whack, nurse comes running down to check you. We have the technology. It collects, it records all sorts of data. What is it critical for what you need to have done? I have my scale. I know that's what I'm going to be using. Once a week, I'll take that information, put it into my dashboard, and week after week after week, I'll be able to see progress, hopefully. That's what I'm expecting. And if I need some other level of treatment or monitoring, it's going to give me, okay, I need to check out this one here a little bit more. I need to find something that's going to be a concern before it becomes a problem, so I can treat it early and often and effectively. My personal health monitoring in 2025, you look that up and there's all sorts of things out there, but I'm finding that most of it really doesn't need it for the level that we need to monitor, track, and improve stuff. So I think if I do a simple, easy spreadsheet of just a few things that I need, I can do what I want to do and make it effective. And we're going to find out. So we're going to concentrate on those few things that affect many. And with that, I think we're right there where I'm almost ready to have that done. So we're going to finish right here at visceral fat and connect next week. So this is Red O'Laughlin checking out on Talking Heads today. Health habits for 25 start today. And we have at least another 4 or 5 weeks that we're going to be talking about how can we make those changes, and follow along with me as I share my progress going through 2025 to 2025. Bye, y'all.
Five Little Known Secrets for Dementia Caregivers with Tracy Cram-Perkins.
Hi there, I am Tracy Cram-Perkins, the host of the Dementia Home Care Show here on USA Global TV and Radio. I am also the author of the book of the same name. And you'll see this QR code. This is for an extended version of the same talk. So if you want to see the full hour-long version, feel free to scan the code and go to that website. Stick with me. We'll talk about 5 little known secrets to make it a little easier to do dementia caregiving. What you're seeing on the left-hand side is a healthy aged brain, age 55 and above. The one you're seeing on the right is an Alzheimer's disease brain. It is in moderate disease. It is shrinking. It has holes in it. The memories that were in those holes no longer exist. When you're learning something, let's say in kindergarten, you learn how to tie your shoelace. Well, then by the time you're in 2nd grade, your brain remembers that information from tying the shoelace and applies it so you can learn more quickly how to tie more complex knots. So the brain is hardwired to do this for us. So it helps us learn faster so it doesn't take us long to acquire knowledge. The brain is looking for the information and they pick the closest to wherever that hole is. Let's look at some tips that we can use to help do that.
These are 5 simple tools you can use as a dementia caregiver to help your loved one. The whiteboard is a useful tool in recording the day's activities and the answers to repetitive questions. The calendar clock is a very useful tool to orient your loved one on the day, the date, and the time, and remind them of upcoming appointments. The communication cards are a great tool to bridge the gap when they can no longer tell you what's wrong. And then there's the pill minder for when your loved one is still able to take pills but needs prompting. The final tool I want to share with you is the memory book. It tells your loved one's story. It's a great tool for distraction, redirection, also as a conversation starter, and telling you where they are in their story so you know how to answer their questions.
Music is probably the most powerful tool in your toolbox after laughter. Music is a way to maintain connection. It sticks with your brain longer than any other thing, including reading. When you're having an issue with somebody, you can play their favorite music if you move them to another room, something that makes them happy, or you can start singing songs together from their childhood. These are some of my favorite books for caregivers. My show airs on the 3rd Tuesday of every month, and you can view past episodes on YouTube. Thank you, everyone.
This program has been brought to you in part by Tracy Cram-Perkins. Connect with her and order her book at tracycramperkins.com. For more information about Alzheimer's disease, support resources, and how you can help, contact the Alzheimer's Association at 1-800-272-3900 or visit their website at www.alz.org. They offer 24/7 helpline support and a wealth of information to assist you and your loved ones. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting The Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the secrets of visual impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, Unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect, empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, Mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette, building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you.